to be the center of attention or anything.
That's not entirely true. You're not wrong. That we maybe could keep that, actually.
Yeah, that's actually kind of cute. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Unfiltered and Unashamed. We are powering through some recordings. We have been very, very busy with our personal lives and real jobs. It's been a little difficult to match schedules. So, but we kind of thought one great little conversation to have would be, because we had previously discussed women's healthcare and the pain that we go through in those situations, but the pain that we go through willingly,
right?
To feel better about yourself, to meet society standards, all the things.
Feel comfortable in your skin.
Yeah. I mean, there's a list. At first I was like, I don't know if there's a whole lot to go on that. There is.
Yeah. And I'm going to throw up, as we're talking about this in this moment, I'm remembering it. So, probably third or fourth grade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember there was the trend. Well, you didn't have to. Maybe you did. Everyone tried to get to perm their hair.
Oh, no, I permed my hair.
Did you?
I had spiral perm. No, it was a spiral perm.
Was it?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I tried
to do the spiral perm.
Okay. Did you do it at home?
The hairstylist came to my house.
Oh, fancy.
My mom babysat her kids.
Oh, okay. I went to Great Clips. That's where I would have got it done.
Yours held.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Mine did not. My hair does not take a perm.
Really? Have you tried it?
I tried it like 2 or 3 times.
Okay. In my brain, I've always wanted a perm that left me with like arrow curls.
Yeah.
I still wish that existed. It does not.
It does.
And even if you do the biggest, like, it's not the same. And I'm not willing to torture myself with the weeks of unwanted curl. But yeah.
To test it out.
And that is a very beginning start of it, because my Lord, the smell.
Yes.
The burning of the eyes.
Yes.
It was terrible. And it hurt. When they snapped those things
so tight.
When they laid you back, it was the ones on your lower, they all lashed up against your head and didn't feel good. And here's a hairstylist at Great Clips working on a 9-year-old child. She's just like, this is my life.
Yeah. So I don't know if I had a lot more compassion. But what I will say is that even in that moment, she said, honey, beauty is pain.
Yes, we hear that quite a bit.
No pain, no gain.
Right.
And it just dawned on me that she said that, and obviously with no ill will towards her.
Sure.
She's not wrong.
Nope, she's not wrong.
The concept itself now
is bullshit.
Is maybe not the best, but she wasn't wrong.
No, it starts at a young age, obviously. Mm-hmm. I will never forget my sister. This was early 90s. And she had an epilady. And an epilady is like a hair removal. It would be like an electric razor. But instead of it being an electric razor, pulled the hairs out. They showed the commercial, like, like, no big deal. And she got one for Christmas. I'm pretty sure she returned it the next day. Oh. It hurt so bad. She did it and she was crying. Because, of course, it hurts like hell. But they don't show you that on the commercial.
How many Nair disasters have you heard of?
Oh my gosh.
Speaking of hair removal.
People burning themselves, giving themselves irritation. I mean, swelling because do you know how Nair works?
No.
You put it on the skin and it's a dilator. So it dilates the pores that then
when hair to fall out.
That then when you wipe it off, those hair follicles just shoop. I'm doing it on my lip because that's where I remember doing Nair. They would just come out. But then that left you puffy. Right. And red. And again, if not cleaned properly, you're going to end up with breakouts and possibly infection, different things. I know people did like hair all over their bodies, all over. That's crazy to me. But I'm in the industry of waxing, right? And I remember the first appointment I had scheduled, and this was when I was in school, and I was supposed to wax someone's eyebrows. I had my first anxiety attack. And I'd never had an anxiety attack, and I was so afraid to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel good.
It doesn't.
It doesn't feel good. And I'm so numb to it now because I just do it all day, every day, that I don't even think that I'm about the pain that I'm causing. So I'm like chatting, and then all of a sudden someone will go, and I'm like, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot I'm ripping hair out of your face.
Right.
I personally don't do a lot of body waxing, but that was another reason why I did not want to get into Brazilian waxing or any of that, because it hurts.
It hurts. Yeah.
It hurts. Mm-hmm. Our generation, I don't think waxing, it got more popular probably in the, I don't know, I'd say thousands.
I was going to say
that anyone talked about at all.
No one was like trimming or shaving or anything in high school.
No. Well, there were some people, because I remember one person was like, you need to do this. For me, like when I went to school, which would have been 20, I guess, 23. And I even then.
You mean 2003?
Oh.
Oh, no.
No, I age, but I still at that time was not an advocate. I tried to regularly get my underarms waxed at that point because I had that dark hair, pale skin, so I always had what they call the shadow. So it didn't matter if I shaved or not, you'd see the hair there. And the problem is with waxing is you have to get on the right schedule. And so I was just like, well, I'm not going to have any of my body waxed because it's not convenient for me. So many people do it. I never wanted my Brazilian waxed because it hurts like hell. I would wax myself at times, but few and far between because it hurt and it sucked. But it became a huge thing.
I've tried it a couple times.
And let me tell you, there were estheticians making bank
It's
on waxing
sounds.
vaginas.
I'd rather get an IUD placed.
That's pretty
Because you know, even if your brain or your mindset is good, your body fully reacts.
It does. You start sweating, get agitated,
nausea,
all the things. Again, it does depend on your waxer too. The experience that they have, the experience that you're provided with, and that's from the get-go, from the whole wherever you're going, that sort of thing. But the reality is that you could book a Brazilian wax at any upscale salon or spa, whatever, even a waxing facility, but you could get somebody first day on the job, and they might have only just waxed one or two other vajayjays.
Yeah, just talking about it, taking my breath away a little bit.
Yeah. So definitely something that we do that causes pain, that a lot of people do because they want to be hair free
and or meet the standard of the time.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. I know I did laser hair removal and that doesn't feel good either.
Yeah, I've not broached that.
I will say my daughter did her underarm
razor.
Sure, because she's getting married. And I get it because, you know, she's in a strapless, most dresses, at least you can see underarms, most of them. But she's same like me. She has darker skin tone than I do, but her hair is so dark. She's like, I could shave that morning and you will see if I lift my arms up at all. You see hair. And so she did laser hair on her underarms and she was like, my Lord. I said, yeah, it's that good. Now everyone has the same experience because it depends on the type of laser, the people who are doing it, your skin tone, your hair color, it all varies. But usually people with dark hair have pretty good success. So I mean, that's not a painful act that we all do just to be hair free. Again, following just kind of societies that body hair is gross. People do lasers on their face for hyperpigmentation because we all cooked ourselves in tanning beds. Yep. So I know a lot of people will do that. Chemical peels. I mean, I do chemical peels on people. I obviously have a certain level that I can get to before being out of my scope of practice, but they don't feel good. Yeah. They don't feel good. Microneedling. Same thing. You're sticking a needle in your face. Right. It doesn't feel good, but we do it. We sign up and pay for it.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Botox. Yeah.
Which honestly, I love.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And expensive.
Yep. But you do it.
But I do it. Yep. Because I enjoy the results.
Yeah, I did it once. I'm sure it'll be back on my radar. For me, it didn't last as long as I wanted. And I know that people say, oh, the more you do it, but you know, we'll get back there. But fillers, and that's another thing that people do. That permanent makeup.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and then that goes into
imagine I have lots of tattoos.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've sat through lots of tattoos in very different places on my body, you know, that are supposedly ranked super
sensitive.
I can't compare my pain with someone else's.
Right.
That all being said, I cannot imagine getting eyeliner tattooed.
I almost feel like eyeliner would be better than lips.
Yes, I agree. But I also
fear of eyeliner, the fear freaks me out. First off, it would be faster. But the idea of a needle coming that close to my eyeball and the slip of someone's hand freaks me out. I know some people who've had their lips done and it doesn't feel good. Because you can actually microneedle over lips. Because, you know, you get lines there. A lot of people don't because it hurts so bad that if you do it to somebody, they'll like I'm off your tables.
And that's why I haven't done anything about that.
Right. Do you know how they kind of fix this? They can fill this with filler.
Right.
Or they can fill this, which then brings that up. And I had a client explain to me once how she had this done. And she did it once. She said the physician was fantastic. She had nothing but a wonderful experience. It was somebody I had referred her to. But she said, yeah, I don't know if I can do it again. She loved the results. Yeah. She's like, I don't know if I can do it again. I almost passed out. It was nothing against even the way it was done or how it was done. It's not even that it hurt that bad. It hurt and I knew what was going on.
Yeah.
So just a very overall discomforting feeling. So those are some things. Again, hair color, it's not painful, but it's not enjoyable. I know my scalp itches when I get my hair colored. Female piercings, like ears. I mean, it's so much more open and diverse now. But when we were growing up, generally it was mostly just girls. And that was a part of being pretty.
Right.
Having earrings made you pretty, because if you can accessorize your ears, well, then
that was a big thing.
Yeah.
And again, all of these are elective.
Yep, all of them. Nails,
right? Nails,
especially the fake nails. Remember how bad it hurts when you have those fake nails and you jam your nail into something?
Yeah. Well, but
even with the shellac and stuff.
Even when they're using the
file,
the electric file,
they get too low.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's had that.
Burning high. Yeah.
Or they nick the edge of your cuticle.
Yeah, doesn't feel good.
Doesn't feel good.
Mm-mm.
And we elect to do these things.
We do elect to.
And no judgment.
Yeah, no judgment. I've done them all. Well, I have not done all of these, but
I've done a handful of them.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yep.
And there are so many other things that people do that we're not even talking about. I mean, you're talking about, surgeries, liposuction, that's sonobella. There's the freezing of fat. I can't forget what that's called, but people have cryogenic, something like that. Like they freeze their fat. That doesn't feel good. Gua sha is now on their face, gua sha zones. I mean, you can do stuff like that on like your thighs to help, and it's not permanent. It is a minimal, very short term to help reduce the appearance of cellulite. Same with like cupping, massage cupping. Now that's not necessarily painful. It can be mildly discomfort. I don't know if you've ever had cupping done.
I haven't, but
it's an interesting experience.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks pretty gnarly after. It looks so much worse.
So gnarly.
Yeah, it looks so much worse than it feels.
For a good week.
Yeah. And they even go into the low bruising, and it's a lengthy thing. But I will say I have had it done, and I do like it. Massage. That can be painful too. Now that isn't necessarily a beauty standard, but it is a body wellness thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people use massage as a form of self-care.
Yeah.
But when I schedule a massage with my massage therapist, who is fantastic, I'm like, man, just like beat the shit out of me. And he does. Yeah. And it hurts for 2 or 3 days afterwards.
Yeah, but it makes a difference.
But that's the level that I need in order to kind of chill out my muscles.
Yeah. Have you ever tried acupuncture?
No.
I haven't either. I don't know if it hurts. I can't imagine it feels like great.
Yeah.
It's got to be somewhat discomforting, you would think. I know a couple of people that have.
I know a couple of people that have, and they've never said that it was
uncomfortable.
Sometimes it's the idea.
Sure. Yeah.
That we get in our heads.
Yeah. Well, I had a client earlier, and you just like little kids, you got to clip their fingernails, and before you even get like to their fingernail, they're like, but let's flip this. And maybe we are missing a lot of them. What do men do? And not just the men we know, but there are men who do a lot of things as well. Just the majority of them are not. I think the expectations for men are different from other men and from women, because a lot of the times the expectations that we have for ourselves aren't from men. They're from women.
Right, because we're comparing ourselves,
keeping up with other women. They definitely don't spend as much time or money on it, which is hard because generally it's hard because here, we're spending money on these things. If you're sharing a life or money with somebody, not even sharing money in a pool, but your best interests are put to each other, that can make a difference. That's hard because you're going, well, of course I want to spend money on getting my hair done and getting my facials. That's something we didn't talk about either. Most facials aren't painful, but microneedling and whatnot. But like for maintenance, facials, hair coloring, take out just the basics. Mani-pedis, eyebrow wax, lip wax, whatever. It's costly, and men don't always understand that. And I've had multiple clients who say to me, well, I just wish you would just age gracefully. You just need to just age naturally, age gracefully. And immediately she was like, she met this person a little later in life. You haven't seen me without hair color, without eyelash extensions, without my nails done, without Botox, without all of these things.
Right.
You have never seen me.
Sure.
So are you ready for me to age gracefully? Because you fell in love with this. And I think age plays into it too, because we're in our 40s. And most of the time, most people aren't going to want, but see, here's the thing, and I could be wrong on this. I feel like most women, it's fine that their husband's bald and or go gray. What are you going to do about balding, right? Other than major hair transplants, that's just one of those things. But going gray, it's just like, oh yeah, he grayed. Doesn't matter if he's 32 or 35.
They become these silver foxes.
Yes. But for women, men aren't like, oh yeah, my wife's hair is going gray. No big deal. That's not the way it is.
No.
Yeah. It's obnoxious. Maybe it's because as they age, they also get more mature. And so naturally, that's the attractive part.
I think that has something to do
I'm sure
with it. But they're so,
right. Yes. They're allowed to have gray hair, have gray beards. Men are sexy when they put their readers on. Women are not. And even body type wise. Mm-hmm. They're definitely more forgiven in society.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's been this whole trend over the last few years
of dad bod.
Rocking the dad bod. And what women are out there being like,
rocking my mom belly, no big deal. Like, and you sent me something the other day, and it was basically a woman's supposed to, how dare they not bear children? Because if they don't bear children, then they're selfish and they have to have kids. But, they also have to be fit and be healthy. Right. And then if they do bear children, well, then their bodies are disgusting. Mm-hmm. And it's 90% of the population. If they have a child, not that their body is disgusting. Their body doesn't hit the level that society expects it should be back to. There is a percentage of population who I don't know how. It's genetics. It's whatever it is that they do get really close to being back to exactly where they were. And that doesn't matter if they were weight wise, like elasticity wise, and they don't lose their boobs completely.
Even like pregnancy is hard on your teeth.
Yeah. Don't look not cute just because you had a baby. How dare you? That's not okay. But yeah, dads can rock their dad bod. I wonder, do more men get hit on when they're out and about than women? Because have you ever seen like these things that men talk about how if they don't have kids, but they're going to borrow their nephew or their niece and go somewhere because then they're going to get attention and positive attention, right? Because they're alone with a child and how cute and adorable and or creepy majority wise. Let's not go down that path. But I'm saying like
in this particular instance where you have a really, really great uncle.
Yes. Like just is using. Well, I mean, he's using you,
but you're probably doing something fun and you don't know it.
Exactly. And so it just makes you wonder, like, are men getting hit on with kids or without kids more often than women because they have less standards to meet, and so a man might not find as many women that they're naturally attracted to. Where women, it just doesn't. They look past it.
I think there's a lot of different directions we could go with this. So I'm not going to go through all of them. Okay. I'm just going to touch like the very tip top of the iceberg on this. I think there's a biological survival factor involved. And so I think that sometimes when some women see men parenting, their biological drive for an engaged partner for child rearing, that all comes up. And so that appears attractive.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Also, I think as a society, we're getting better overall, and dads are more participatory.
Oh, for sure. I didn't know where you were going with that. Yes.
Than they were before.
I would agree.
I still think we give too much credit to dads for doing basic dad shit.
Yeah. Yep.
And so I think from maybe a hetero woman's perspective, that could have an impact. But I think men see women with children and don't necessarily think, I want to create children with this person. They think, this person already has someone they're creating children.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
And again, that's strictly biological procreation level.
That makes sense. I thought you were going to say that they see them with children and they're like, I don't want to deal with that.
Well, it could be both. Yeah. But I think if we're looking just at biological.
Yes, I think you're right. That makes a lot of sense. But you said they're tip of the iceberg there.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to get into.
Okay, we're not going
into I could get on boxes about both of those things and go totally different directions for hours.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's lots of little areas in there that we could discuss, but we said we were going to stay positive today. Or as positive as possible today. We have been pretty good.
We've been pretty positive.
Yeah. So. My coffee's wearing off, so I'm going to get a little down. I know people, grown adults, who don't drink caffeine at all. I don't know how.
I don't know. I mean, I would love to be in a place where I didn't feel like I needed coffee.
I'm generally an opposite person after I've had caffeine.
Yeah,
I can't say I'm maybe more patient, but I definitely have more positivity.
Not quite as irritable as quickly.
It's a drug, right? That's why. And then just in that topic, that was the whole Coca-Cola thing. It was just like, stop giving us these random flavors and give us the cocaine back. Like,
I don't think we should
promote cocaine. I'm not promoting cocaine. I just feel like that shows that across the board, people are exhausted. Like, I mean, we're all exhausted.
Yes, I see where you're going with that.
Yeah. We're all just trying to
get through the day.
And each day, some days I feel like I don't know what to do. Like I feel like there's nothing on my list. And then other days it's just too much, which falls into, wrapping it back, things of beauty. So adding to the plate of not only your daily normal things is, oh crap, on Thursday I'm getting my hair colored. And Saturday morning I gotta go to get my eyebrows waxed. I had some of the day. She's like, I double booked myself with my facial and my mani-pedi. I mean, like these are things that, and some people will say, well, that's just stupid. You don't need to do those things. It's not about a need. These are the things that you're doing.
Cost. It's in part the cost of being a woman.
Correct. Right. It is. Yes, you're right. And so we also then have to fit that into our life and into our schedule without it affecting anyone else's schedule.
Right. There's a time, energy, and actual financial cost.
Which is, it's hard. Obviously, I work in an industry where people who come see me, it's not an issue for them at home that they go spend money on these things. Or this might be the only thing they spend extra on. But I know, and I've heard a lot of women saying like, yeah, I'm not allowed to get a facial because he doesn't want me to spend the money. And I get that, but yet the facial means so much more to you because you feel like you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing as a woman.
Right. Yeah. And maybe some of why we are drawn to do these things, even with the cost and the time and the energy, is also some of these services are the only time that we don't get interrupted.
Oh, there's that too. There is that too. And it does make me sad. There are a lot of people who won't turn off their interruptions. And they keep their watch on and they check their watch, or they keep their phone with them. And yeah.
During a facial?
I've had people bring a baby in during a facial, bring kids in. I've had people take work conference calls during a facial. Yeah, because they're trying to fit it in.
Yeah.
So it isn't always about the relaxation.
But I would say that one of the few times that I'm completely off limits is when I'm either in a session working or if I'm getting a service.
Yeah. I mean, same. I just will not. This is my time.
Yeah.
And I have to remind myself, and I've said it to a couple of people as well, is we are so used to instant response. And, we are the last generation that will know what life was like when you didn't know someone called you until you got home if they left a message. If they didn't leave a message, you had no idea that they called. You didn't have caller ID.
Right. Well, we didn't have answering machines.
Yes, you're right. I'm trying to think
probably late elementary or middle school.
I would say middle school. Yeah, because I don't think we had one until I moved here. But because then it went from the point where it was actual answering machines to where it was on your phone. So you called a phone number from your phone and you would listen to your voicemails.
Yeah, see, once we got the tape record answering machine,
you stuck with that.
We never went to
the voice one. Because I remember you just dialed a number. I don't remember what number. Interesting. Maybe you dialed your number from the number from your phone and then you put in a number. I don't remember, but I remember that was how you did it because it would show that you had a message. So it must have been by the time that a caller ID came along. But before that, I do remember having the disc or the little baby cassette.
Yep.
You could listen to your messages that way. But yeah, and so you didn't get bombarded.
There was no call waiting.
No. I remember my sister begged for call waiting. I wasn't old enough at the time. Begged for it.
So, I mean, there was a point in time where you left the house.
Yep.
And people called you, maybe with important information, maybe not. And you came home 2 hours later and you would have no idea that they ever attempted to call you.
Correct. And that seems so bizarre.
It does.
But
we also swung too far in the other direction.
It also sounds very peaceful. I don't think I spend one car ride without getting either a phone call or a text message. I know, here, my phone, it's rang, it's messages, notifications. I actually went through the other day and I turned on notifications to a lot of things, to all my social media, because it's overwhelming. How weird is that? We are the last generation. When our moms left by themselves, when they left by themselves, they were gone. Maybe that was why. I don't know. I was always so upset when my mom would leave. It wasn't like being at home with my dad. It was like the worst thing. But there was no getting in touch with them.
My mom didn't.
Oh, that's right. Your mom stayed at home.
Yeah. I mean, even when she was working and was home by 3 or 4, I don't remember my mom going out with her girlfriends and stuff. She would, if she wasn't literally at work, she was with us.
Yeah, my mom didn't go out with girlfriends. It was more, she went to Jazzercise. Or that's basically kind of those things. Or I remember she went on one trip, but they were gone. If you were home with your siblings, that we talked about earlier, siblings take care of siblings. And if your parents weren't at work, because at work you could call, and the ridiculous things that we called for. Oh my gosh, if my kids called me during the day like that now, I would lose it. But you didn't get a hold of them. If your parents left and said, "Hey, we're gonna go run some errands, we've got to pick up paint, and we've got to go to the grocery store. We don't drag you little kids around, and you're old enough to stay home by yourselves now."
Yeah,
You didn't get a hold of it. There was like if your younger brother fell down the stairs, there was no, you could go to a neighbor's house and get help, but you couldn't get a hold of your parents.
Yes.
That's weird.
For the most part, yes, I will say. I remember babysitting other people's kids and having that.
Yeah, you were on your own. I remember they would leave the phone number of the restaurant that they would go to. I remember that distinctly. We're going to this restaurant. Here's the phone number. Like a 12-year-old girl's going to call a restaurant.
Oh, but I would have called my mom.
Right.
Or my dad. Or whoever. Yeah. And they would have come to help. Right. And then one of them probably would have called the restaurant.
Right. But how crazy.
Yeah. My dad had like one of the first cell phones because my brother had his medical condition. Sure. So I don't really remember a time where I absolutely could not get a hold of my parents for that specific reason. Okay, got it. So that's why I'm trying to think contextually.
You didn't have that.
The more norm experience was probably like when I was babysitting.
Yeah.
Other people's kids because they didn't have that.
Yeah, I also never knew when my parents were coming home. Now it's like you usually check in, you text like, "Hey, I'm on my way home. Do you need anything?" Or like whatever it is, because I don't want to have to leave the house again.
%. Like anytime I'm heading home at the end of the day, whatever I have going on, there's a check-in.
Yeah, but they didn't. First off, they couldn't unless they did it from their office before they left work. There was no check-in. Not at all. But yeah,
I remember grocery shopping before you could call home and be like, "Hey, do we have this in the cupboard?"
Yeah, you had to make a detailed list. I still try to do that. Perfect example, we went yesterday. All of us went, which sometimes I like that, sometimes I don't. But there were multiple things that he was putting them away, and then he goes, pulled out, we have this, because there was no one at home to ask. Everything was so different.
It really was.
So I think on that note, I need to go get a coffee.
Sounds good.
We thank you for joining us today. Like us and follow on Instagram at unfiltered.unashamed. Subscribe and like our video here on YouTube and follow us on Spotify. And then you can
email us questions, concerns, stories as yourself or anonymously at unfilteredunashamed@gmail.com.
Yeah. All right. Caffeine time, guys. See you later. Bye.